Hello and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I'm in my pajamas. Got DnD in hour and a half or so. So I've got like 25 minutes or so before I've got to leave to go and collect the players. I'm looking forward to it. Lemonade. But yeah, it's going to be 3 hour max sort of dealio because one of the players has gone and made plans for around 10ish. It's really hard to squeeze this in. I like long sessions, like 6 hour sessions, and it's hard, really hard to keep them short. But thankfully, my planning for this one is minimal. I have an idea. I'm just gonna pretty much let them wander around the city. And if they go out of the city, then good for them. They've gone out of the city and stuff. And then I'm gonna try and end the session on a bit of a big event, them leaving the island or being able now to leave the island, introducing a new party member. Then we have, because I'm going to give them the option to leave the island, and a lot of people are going to leave the island, but whether they want to or not is up to them, because they've only just got to the city, and what I'm doing effectively is, last session they got to the city. This session, I'm giving them the option to leave the city without too much of getting to know it. But if they do that, then that gives me plenty of time to flesh out the city, should I choose to. But also, that means that we have a travel session coming up, because they've got to travel across the ocean to get somewhere if they leave the city. Then again, there might be teleport available. It depends on which faction they go with, because when their option to leave the island will come with both of the warring factions entering the island, and that will change things remarkably. And also, 15, not bad. I made a little characteroo earlier. Was good fun. I've made a version of the bard as a paladin, because I feel as though that would fit better with what the party would require. He's got good health. He's got 50 health, which is more than Swing currently has. Which I suppose makes sense because it's got a D10 health rather than a D8, though it's only got 6 more health. I don't know. But, like Swing, will be immune to disease, will be a melee fighter, like Slade, one of my friends who's a player in this campaign, but also one of the players in that campaign that I play in. They play a monk. Bam, bam, bam! They hit people, unarmed strikes and stuff. They have, I think they've got clubs, like nunchucks. And yeah, they've got like an oath not to kill. My guy is gonna be fun. He's got like a suit that has been enchanted to act like plate armor, but without the stealth disadvantage, and he has a hand wrap, like a bandage, that goes around each hand, because he's got implanted into his arms magical things that he took out of someone else, the first person and currently only person he's ever killed. They were sent to kill him by someone, he doesn't know who. But he's always been good at hitting things. He used to practice on hay bales and stuff back at the farm, and he got pretty strong having to sort of haul cows around and stuff like that. Because in the Unearthed Arcana there is the fighting style where you get a d6 for unarmed strike damage, you're proficient with it, and you use you add your strength modifier. So it's effectively like a short sword to punch people with. And so, as Paladin, he's going to be able to do that. He's a Heroics Paladin, which is also an Unearthed Arcana. So he's entirely playtest apart from the base Paladin features. Though, I'm quite glad that our campaign isn't continuing this weekend, but next weekend. We've got a different thing this weekend. Because next Tuesday is when the Eberron book comes out. Eberron Rising from the Last War. And in it is the actual Artificer class, with its subclasses and whatnot, which will show, which I will need to look at to compare to what Swing currently has and make potential adjustments, maybe having a bit of the Unearthed Arcana, a bit of what currently is, or all of what currently is, or just stick to the Unearthed Arcana, whatever. Me and the DM will discuss that. But because Swing isn't a normal Warforged, he made himself into a robot, rather than being created as a robot and having a soul created with that. He's got his soul tied to his body through magical means. I like to play around in my head that he wasn't really sure what he was doing, but he felt something within him guiding him, and he was going to be a sorcerer. He had a little bit of magic anyway. He was studying to become a wizard, but I feel as though he was a sorcerer. But now he is not, because all of his sorcerous power is being used to anchor his soul into his body. That's what my current theory is, and that's my headcanon. And if I use Swing in a separate world, as opposed to if I use him as a DM, that is, then that's his backstory. But, as I was going to say before I got into my own headcanon there, I believe there's going to be new subclasses, like, official released in Eberron, in the Eberron book. I'm assuming there's going to be at least one for each class. I'm hoping that the Talisman Warlock goes in, because they've done a bunch of Unearthed Arcanas with subclasses recently. They've done one for every class, at least. And I think they're also going to put in the variant rules, and potentially thus also the fighting style, where you get to punch things, which allows non-monk characters to sort of get that. I also like the idea that you can have a feat and a +1 to... as a feat, you can get a +1 to a stat and a fighting style. It makes sense to me, because a fighting style isn't as good as a feat. So if you use half of your ability score improvement for the feat, you get to keep the other half. It makes sense. That's a variant sort of homebrew rule that I will definitely be running, especially if I do a low magic setting at any point, which I don't really see happening, to be honest, but because I tried doing a low magic setting, and so far they have 3 magic items, and have left the low magic area. And it's been 2, maybe 3 sessions tops, maximum of 3 sessions so far, and they went from level 1 to level 5. There was undead and all that good stuff. I don't do low magic very well, but yes, I'm really looking forward to the Eberron book coming out. It's my Christmas present to myself. I did pre-order it on Amazon, but it then said it wouldn't arrive until December 11th. So I decided, screw it, I'll just go and buy it Tuesday when it's released. And I've contacted a couple shops, and one of them said, yes, we do, as far as we're aware, we will have it Tuesday with both covers. I feel like I'm going to get the alternate cover rather than the normal cover, because it looks so nice, and they're the same price, so yeah. I think I might do that. I love Eberron. I have a map of Corvair on my wall, and Eberron doesn't even exist in 5e yet. That's Tal'Dorei. But yeah, it's good. And Paladin, who punches stuff, the magic items that he's implanted that are currently wrapped. Oh, I have cut myself. Yeah, that are wrapped up all along his arms underneath the suit. I'm also debating having him have like fine gloves on over top of the bandages to start with. They are... I gave him a name, I don't remember what it is, but they mean you do an extra d4 necrotic damage on unarmed strikes, and any damage dealt through unarmed strikes can't be magically healed. It has to heal through resting. That's all it does. It's like a weaker version of a weapon of wounding, because of Weapon of Wounding, they make a con save. If they fail, they take a d4 necrotic damage at the start of their turn, and then at the end of their turn, they can make another con save, or someone can make a medicine check on them as an action. But you go through all that. That's pretty strong. I've said that his punchy punch things aren't working at the moment. I want to get them clarified through with the DM and just have it when he hits level 5, because he's level 4 at the moment. It requires that extra boost where you can get the extra attack. That is when they will kick in. He's not powerful enough. He's not had them in and grown in power. They require sparking. He's managed to implant them himself with some help from like some cleric or something that he's met on the way. But he's not had a spark of growth in power since he's put them in, and so there's nothing that's kickstarted them. And then so when he levels up, they go, and then he can punch people, do bludgeoning and necrotic damage. Plus, you can drop spell slots for Divine Smite, and as a Heroics Paladin, he can use, as a bonus action, Divine... it's not Divine Intervention. Channel Divinity, in order to, like a champion fighter, crit on 19s and 20s rather than just 20s for attack rolls, which makes him pretty deadly, because he'll be doing a d6 plus a d4, plus 2d8, which... if you double all of that, pretty sweet. But yeah, I might also change it so he can add his charisma modifier to damage with unarmed strikes as well. But that'd be pretty damn strong, because that means that every unarmed strike, I might say once per turn, or X amount of times per short rest, you can add your charisma modifier to an unarmed strike damage, because strength and charisma are the same for him, so there's no point replacing it. But I feel as though I need to get that in there as a paladin somehow. I might say when you use Divine Smite, you add your charisma modifier to that. That makes sense, because the other guy, the guy that he was using them before, I think would have been like a sorcerer or something that came after him and used magic to attack him, but he just knocked him out. And then it would have been, I don't know, for the sorcerer, because it'll change depending on what class you are. For a sorcerer, I'm thinking that these implant things would say, you do the d4 unarmed strike thing, but you add your strength modifier, or no, your con modifier to any spells you cast that deal damage once per turn. No, when you use meta magic on a spell that deals damage, you get to add your strength modifier to that damage as well. Whew. Yeah. And I now have this, which says item file. It's not got much in it yet, but I do plan on improving it. I went through and grabbed a few of my old items. I've still got item book. This one, old notebook of mine, chock full with items, is where I originally came up with the Ring of Blades, which is one of my favourites. There's also the original Sword of Varathorn, which I believe is the first magical item that I made up off the top of my head. Oh, they have that. Okay, yeah. This thing's got... I love this. Zaraga. Yeah, it's also got the Brooch of the Kraken, Writ of the Traveller, Doragiel's Scale Mail, Ring of the Holy Hammer, Bottle of Colour, the Elixir of Hardening, which is in a pumpkin-shaped bottle. It's pretty cool. The Bow Tie of Balance. That's one of my favourite items as well that I've ever made. It's the Spiked Shin Guard of Selamoir. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Ring of the Scarlet Princess. Oh yeah, and a 9th level spell that I made that I really need to check balancing wise. What's this one behind that? The Hammer of the Righteous. Yeah, I think the Ring of the Scarlet Princess isn't bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not great. It's got very specific use cases. Is this my normal? Yeah, this one's just a notebook. This one isn't. No, it is. This is the one with the... Yeah, this is my original D&D notebook that has my first campaign notes in it. Along with a couple other bits and bobs. But yeah, we've got things like the Prince Thordran had 460 HP, AC of 23, Strength and Dex of 20, Wisdom of 26, Charisma of 22, Intelligence of 18, Con of 36. Son of a God is a demigod, is spoiled. Can Shadow Cleave to hit all foes in front of them for a 15-foot cone, or Shadow Sunder to do an extra 2d12 necrotic damage with their greatsword, which they can one-hand if they so choose. They know all necromancy spells and have 5 uses of Divine Smite, along with a 30-foot Shadow Step that they can just do. They have 3 legendary resists, get 1 legendary action per turn. Yeah, that was they were a climactic boss in my first campaign. I can't remember what level the characters were at, like 6 or something, but they had some heavy hitting NPCs with them, and it was nearly a draw. Thordran nearly won, but just barely managed to get away in the end, because there was a Varathorn, my favorite, well, my most powerful NPC in that campaign, was there. Him and Melchior. Melchior's a were-dragon, by the way. They were kicking some butt and taking some name, whilst the party was fighting the undead hordes that Thordran was bringing to bear. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go because this is like 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna have to leave soon. Yeah. But I hope you've enjoyed my rambling about D&D, and I would love to go through more D&D stuff. I just need to get the time and the energy and materials together to make D&D related content on the channel. Anyway, I'll go now. So I'll catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.